Years went by after the last probe went silent. The crystal hall on Nexara changed. The floating chairs looked the same. The blue light still came through the walls, but the delegates sat different now. No loud laughs, no quick jokes. They spoke soft. They listened close. New data came in slow. Not from probes, from human signals. The humans sent messages on purpose now. Short ones, polite ones. They said hello in many languages. They shared pictures of their world. Cities at night, mountains with snow, oceans blue and wide, children playing, old people smiling, storms passing, fires dying down, people helping each other. They did not beg for friendship. They did not threaten. They just showed who they were. One day a small ship appeared at the edge of Nexara space. Gray hull, no weapons showing, no big engines roaring, just steady approach. Name on the side read Horizon Dawn. The council met fast. Corvex stood at the window. He watched the ship come closer. They are here, he said. Not hiding, not attacking, just here. Lyra Voss nodded. Her feathers lay smooth. Let them land. One ship, small crew, no guards. The humans came down in a quiet shuttle. They stepped out on the landing pad. Captain Ethan Hayes walked first. Short brown hair, calm gray eyes, simple gray uniform. Commander Olivia Grant followed. Dark hair tied back, steady face. Behind them two others. Lieutenant Noah Ellis, Sergeant Lucas Grant. All plain clothes, no armor, no guns. The council waited inside the crystal hall. Doors opened. Humans entered. They looked around. No fear in their eyes. Just interest. Lyra Voss stepped forward. Welcome to Nexara. We have watched you for a long time. Ethan smiled small. We know. We watched you back. We learned your ways. We waited until you were ready to talk. Corvex crossed his arms. His voice came low. Your world is Tier 8. Hellworld. We called you weak. We laughed at your fears. We were wrong. Ethan looked at him straight. Fear is not weakness. Fear is the teacher. Every storm taught us to build better. Every sickness taught us to heal faster. Every animal with teeth taught us to think quicker. Every time the ground shook, it taught us to stand together. Olivia spoke next. We do not live in spite of Earth. We live because of Earth. The hard days made us who we are. We carry that with us. Always. Trix Varn clicked soft. You face dangers we cannot imagine, yet you smile. You laugh. You hope. How? Noah Ellis answered with a grin. Because the alternative is worse. Giving up means the planet wins. We do not let it win. Lucas Grant added quiet. We bury friends. We cry. We keep going. That is how we honor them. The hall stayed silent a long moment. Lyra Voss looked at each human. We thought Tier 8 meant death. You showed us it means life. Strong life. Stubborn life. Life that does not break. Corvex stepped closer. What do you want from us? Ethan answered plain. Nothing. We come to say hello. To trade if you want. To share if you want. To help if someone needs it. No more, no less. Olivia added. We know the galaxy is big. Full of wonders. Full of dangers too. If trouble comes to the weak, we will answer. Not because we want war. Because we know what it feels like to be small against something big. The delegates looked at each other. No one spoke against it. Lyra Voss raised her hand. Then we accept. Welcome. Let us talk more. Let us learn from each other. The humans nodded. The meeting went long. They shared stories. Humans told about their world. Delegates told about theirs. No one laughed at fears anymore. No one called anyone weak. When night came, the humans went back to their ship. They left quiet. No parade. No demands. But something stayed behind. A new feeling in the hall. Respect. Deep respect. Days later, Corvex stood alone at the window. Stars shone outside. He thought about the blue planet. Tier 8, Hellworld. He spoke to the empty room. They do not fear the universe. He paused. The universe fears them. Because a species that wakes up every day on a planet that tries to kill it, and still chooses to smile, still chooses to help, still chooses to hope, that species does not stay on one small rock. It spreads, it grows, it changes things. And when it does, the stars will never be the same. She looked out too. They are coming, she said. Vex nodded slow. And when they arrive, we will not mock them. We will greet them as equals. The stars stayed bright. The galaxy waited, quiet, careful, a little hopeful, because the humans were no longer just a Tier 8 story. They were real. They were here. And they brought something the galaxy needed. Courage. The kind that faces Hellworlds every morning, and still gets up to greet the day. The third probe landed in a busy human city. It chose a park near tall buildings, green grass, trees with wide leaves, benches where people sat. The probe hid inside a bush. Small cameras turned. It watched everything. Morning came. Sun rose slow. People walked paths. Some ran fast with music in their ears. Others pushed small rolling machines with babies inside. A woman sat on grass. She read a thin screen. A man threw a round object. A dog ran to catch it, jumped high, brought it back. Tail moved side to side, happy. The probe recorded it all. Then the ground moved. First a small shake. Birds flew up. People stopped, looked around. Some grabbed phones. Others stood still. Then the shake grew, hard. Buildings swayed. Windows rattled. A low rumble came from below. Streetlights swung. Cars stopped quick. Horns sounded. Earthquake. The probe shook too. Its legs dug into dirt to stay steady. Parents pulled children close. Ran to open ground. Strangers helped old people stand. A group near a fallen branch lifted it off a path. Someone shouted calm words. Stay away from buildings. Drop, cover, hold on. Sirens started far away. Loud, steady. When the shaking stopped, the city looked different. Cracks in roads, some windows broken. Smoke rose from one place. People moved again, fast, organized. Teams in bright clothes arrived. They carried tools, lights. They searched under fallen pieces, called names, listened for answers. Pulled a woman from broken wall. She coughed. They gave her water, wrapped her arm, carried her away gentle. The probe followed one team. They went house to house, knocked doors, asked if anyone needed help, found an old man alone, scared. They talked soft, helped him sit outside, gave him a blanket, stayed until family came. Night fell. Lights came back on slow. Some streets dark. People gathered in groups, told stories, laughed a little, hugged tight. The probe sent every second back to Nexara. In the crystal hall the council watched without words. Vex sat heavy in his chair. His scales looked duller under the light. They do not run from their world, he said quiet. When it attacks, they answer. They search. They save. They rebuild. Trix Varn's voice came thin. Look at the numbers. In 1 hour, they pulled hundreds from broken homes. In 1 day, they cleared roads. In 1 week, they started new walls, new wires, new pipes. They do not wait for help from outside. They help themselves first. Lyra Voss stood. Her feathers moved slow. We said they fear too much. But fear makes them quick. Fear makes them careful. Fear makes them strong together. When the ground opens, they do not blame the planet. They fix it. They make it better. Another clip played. A different place. Hot desert. Sand everywhere. A town near a fault line. Another shake came. Houses of mud fell. People ran out, helped each other, built tents fast, cooked over open fires, sang songs while they waited for morning. Then they started again, made bricks, raised walls, planted trees for shade, dug wells deeper. Corvex rubbed his face. Our worlds break once in 1,000 years. We cry, we wait for aid, we rebuild slow. Their world breaks often, they cry little. They act fast. They rebuild faster. The probe moved to a hospital. White rooms, beeps. Doctors ran between beds. A child with burned skin, a woman with broken leg, an old man with hard breathing. Machines helped. Hands worked. Voices spoke kind. No one gave up. Outside, the probe saw people wait. Families, friends. They brought food. They sat long hours. They smiled when good news came. Lyra Voss spoke to the silent hall. Tier 8 does not make them weak. It makes them different. Every pain teaches. Every loss builds. Every fear sharpens. They turn danger into lessons. Lessons into tools. Tools into safety. Safety into more life. Corvex looked up. If this is what happens on a Hellworld, what will happen when they leave? When they carry that same strength to other stars? When they meet real dangers out here? Trix Varn answered soft. They will not run. They will not hide. They will face it, like always. The hall felt heavy. No one laughed anymore. No one called them pathetic. They watched the probe feed continue. A family walked home after the quake. The father carried a small child on shoulders. The mother held an older child's hand. They stepped over cracks. They pointed at stars coming out. The child asked questions. The parents answered. They laughed. The probe zoomed close. Faces tired, dirty, but eyes bright. Hope. Always hope. Lyra Voss turned to the council. Send no more probes for now. Let them be. Prepare. Corvex nodded slow, because one day they will come to us. Not as scared things, not as weak things, as something else. The delegates left quiet. Each carried the same thought. The humans lived on a Tier 8 Hellworld. They did not just survive, they thrived. They turned fear into courage. They turned pain into progress. They turned a deadly planet into home. And soon the stars would meet them. Not as conquerors, not as victims, as equals, maybe more. The probes stayed in the park, watched the city heal. The humans kept going. And far away, the galaxy waited. Quiet. Careful. The second probe was different. It did not stay high in orbit. It came down, slow and careful. The council chose a cold place on purpose. Far north. Thick ice. Endless white. Wind that cut like knives. No people lived close. No animals walked far. Perfect test spot. The probe landed soft on snow. It opened small legs, started scanning. Air, ground, temperature. Everything looked dead. Quiet. Safe. 17 minutes passed. A shape moved on the edge of its camera. Big. White fur. Black nose. Eyes small and dark. A polar bear. It walked slow, curious. The probe tried to move back. Legs slipped on ice. The bear came closer. Sniffed metal. Paw raised. One swipe. Metal bent. Another swipe. Sparks flew. The last image showed open jaws, teeth long, then nothing. The crystal hall watched the feed in total silence. No one moved. Corvex stared at the frozen picture of the bear's mouth. His thick fingers gripped the chair arms hard. That thing weighs as much as 3 grown Gorath, he said low. Claws longer than my forearm, and humans share land with thousands like it, in forests, in jungles, in oceans. Trix Varn's antennae drooped. Smaller ones, too. Snakes hide in grass. One bite and nerves stop. Spiders crawl into beds. Insects carry sickness that burns from inside. Fish with teeth like needles swim in rivers. Jelly things sting in warm seas. Even plants have thorns that poison blood. Lyra Voss kept looking at the screen. They do not run from these things. They name them, draw pictures of them, put them in books for children. They say look but do not touch. They teach their young how to stay safe. Then they go out anyway. A clip from the first probe played again, this time slower. A beach, blue water. Humans walked in. Waves pushed. Some ran back laughing. Others swam deeper. A dark shape moved under the surface. A shark. Long fin. Humans did not see it. They kept swimming, splashing, happy. The council felt cold. Corvex spoke again. We would build walls, stay inside, use drones to look. They go into the water, where things bigger than them wait hungry. They dive with machines on their backs. They touch the animals, feed them, take pictures, call it adventure. Another clip, a jungle path, thick green, humidity high. A human guide led a small group. They carried nets and boxes, looked under leaves, found bright frogs, skin shiny, colors worn of poison. The guide said quiet words, showed how to hold without harm. The humans listened, nodded, smiled, kept walking. Trix Varn clicked once. They collect the poison, study it, turn it into medicine, turn death into life. Lyra Voss stood up slow. We called them afraid because they jump at spiders, because they check under beds, because they lock doors at night. But look what they live with every day. Ground that shakes and cracks open. Sky that drops fire from above. Water that rises and takes whole towns. Air full of tiny killers. Beasts that hunt at night. And still they wake up, eat breakfast, go to work, kiss their children, plan tomorrow. The hall stayed quiet a long time. A small delegate from a water world spoke. His voice bubbled soft. Our worlds are calm, gentle currents, warm light, no teeth in the dark. We fear deep trenches because pressure crushes. But their world presses them every second. Gravity pulls, heat burns, cold freezes, disease waits, and they stand straight anyway. Corvex rubbed his scales. Maybe fear is their armor. Maybe every small scare trains them for the big ones. Maybe that is why they do not break when the world tries to break them. The probe data kept coming. Even after the bear, new probes went to other places, one to a city street. Watched people cross roads where machines moved fast. Watched them stand in lines for food. Watched them help when someone fell. Watched them laugh at jokes. Watched them cry at goodbyes. Another probe to a farm. Saw humans work with animals 10 times their size. Horses, cows. They fed them, cleaned them, rode them. Never showed fear. One probe caught a mother lifting her child from a crib during a loud storm. Thunder shook windows. Lightning flashed bright. The child cried. The mother held tight, sang soft, rocked slow. The child slept again. The mother looked out at the rain, did not close the curtain, just watched. Lyra Voss spoke to the room. We thought Tier 8 meant they must be weak, broken, always scared. But no, Tier 8 made them hard. Every day the planet tests them. They pass, every time. Not because they feel no fear, because they feel it and move anyway. Corvex looked around the hall. If this is what a Hellworld does to a species, what happens when they leave it, when they bring that same stubborn strength to the stars? No one answered right away. Then Trix Varn said quietly, we should keep watching, very close. The council agreed. More probes launched, better ones, hidden better, watching deeper. The humans kept living their Tier 8 lives. They climbed higher mountains. They dived deeper seas. They flew faster planes. They built stronger homes. They loved harder. They feared. They laughed. They kept going. And far above, the aliens watched, No more jokes, no more easy words, just silence, and growing respect. Because a species born on a Tier 8 Hellworld does not stay small, it grows. 6 months passed after the council meeting. The first probe reached Earth orbit without trouble. It was small, black, and silent. No lights, no signals humans could catch easily. It floated high above the clouds and started watching. The probe sent pictures and sounds back to Nexara every day. Delegates gathered again in the Crystal Hall. They sat closer this time. The laughs from before were gone. Curiosity took their place. Corvex stood at the front. He pointed at the big holoscreen. It showed a city at night. Lights glowed in straight lines. Cars moved slow on wide roads. Look at them, he said. They live packed together. Tall buildings touch the sky. They climb inside metal boxes that go up and down. They trust machines more than their own legs. Trix Varn clicked his antennae. But see the weather. Rain falls hard. Wind pushes trees sideways. They still walk outside. They wear thin coats. They do not hide. A big storm moved over an ocean coast. Dark clouds spun. Water rose high. Waves crashed against houses. Humans ran. They carried bags. They helped old people. They drove away in lines of cars. No one screamed on the streets. Lyra Voss watched without blinking. They leave their homes. They come back after. They fix broken walls. They plant new trees. They act like the storm is normal. Corvex crossed his thick arms. Normal for them, maybe. For us, it would be death. Tier 8 means constant danger. Yet their numbers grow. 8 billion now, soon 9. They spread across every corner of that hostile rock. Another clip showed a forest. Tall trees, thick leaves, a large cat with spots walked quiet. It hunted small animals. Then the camera moved. A group of humans walked the same path. They carried bags on their backs. They talked and laughed. One pointed at birds. Another took pictures. No weapons. Just curiosity. Trix Varn tilted his head. They go into places with teeth and claws. They call it fun. They name the danger. They study it. They make shows about it. The screen changed again. A hospital room. Doctors in blue clothes worked fast. A small child lay on a bed. Machines beeped. Tubes went into arms. The child breathed hard. Then, slowly better. The parents waited outside. They held hands. They did not cry loud. They waited. Lyra Voss spoke soft. Diseases live inside them. Tiny things they cannot see. The tiny things kill fast, yet humans fight back. They make medicine. They cut bad parts out. They learn from each death. Corvex shook his head slow. We would leave such a world. Find a quiet moon. Build domes. Stay safe. They stay. They build higher. They dig deeper. They fly to their moon in metal cans. They send robots to red deserts far away. The probe kept sending data. It watched a child fall off a bike. Skin scraped. Blood came. The child cried a little, then stood up, got back on, rode again. The parent watched from the door, smiled, did not run to stop it. Trix Varn clicked again. Pain teaches them. Fear teaches them. They do not run from the lesson. They listen. They get better. A new image appeared. A mountain peak, snow on top, thin air. A line of humans climbed slow. Ropes tied them together. Ice axes in hands. Wind pushed hard. One slipped. The rope caught him. They pulled him up. Kept going. Reached the top. Looked at the world below. Raised arms. Smiled big. Lyra Voss leaned closer to the screen. They seek the danger. On purpose. They pay money to feel cold, to feel tired, to feel scared for a moment. Then they come down and tell stories. Corvex rubbed his scaled chin. Maybe that is why they fear small things. Spiders, dark rooms, loud noises. Their world throws big dangers at them every day, so small ones feel bigger. Like practice. The hall stayed quiet after that. No quick jokes, no easy laughs. The probe moved to a new place, a desert, hot sand, no water for miles. Humans drove machines with big wheels. They raced across dunes. They laughed when sand flew. They stopped at night, made fire, cooked food, sang songs under stars. Then a sandstorm came. Wind howled. Sand blocked the sky. They covered faces, hid inside tents, waited. When it passed, they dug out, checked machines, fixed what broke, kept going. Lyra Voss turned to the others. We called them cowards. We said they fear everything. But look, they face fire from the sky, water that swallows cities, ground that shakes, beasts that hunt, sickness that creeps, and they keep going. They build, they love, they laugh. Corvex looked at the screen a long time. We thought Tier 8 meant weakness. Maybe it means strength. We do not understand. The probe sent one last clip that day. A beach at sunset. Waves rolled gentle. A family sat on sand. Children ran. Parents watched. An old man walked slow with a stick. Everyone smiled. The sun touched water. Colors filled the sky. No storm, no danger, just peace. But everyone in the hall knew. Tomorrow the world would try again. Rain, heat, cold, hunger, pain. And the humans would meet it, like always. Lyra Voss spoke to the quiet room. Send more probes. Watch closer. We need to know what happens when a Tier 8 species looks up and decides the stars are next. No one argued. The probe kept watching. The humans kept living. And somewhere in the crystal hall, a new feeling grew. Not laughter, not pity, respect. Small at first, the huge crystal hall on Nexera floated above thick, white clouds. Soft blue light came through the clear walls. Delegates from many worlds sat in rows of floating chairs. They wore bright robes or polished armor. Everyone looked calm and important. Today they talked about a new species. Lyra Voss stood at the center platform. She was tall, with smooth silver feathers and sharp black eyes. She spoke in a clear voice that carried to every seat. A primitive signal came from the edge of known space. The planet is called Earth by its people. They call themselves humans. The message asks for peaceful first contact. A deep laugh rolled through the hall. Corvex leaned forward in his seat. He was Gorath. Huge shoulders, thick green scales, sharp teeth showed when he smiled. Peaceful? They still use rockets that burn fuel. Their fastest ships take years to reach the next star. And they are scared of everything on their own world. A thin Zethar delegate waved his antenna. His name was Trix Varn. I listened to their old broadcasts. They fear the dark so much they leave lights on for children. They jump at small bugs with too many legs. They cry when it rains too hard. Weak creatures. Lyra raised one feathered hand. The hall grew quieter. Still, rules say we must assess every new species. We classify the planet. Hazard level, contact risk, cultural fit. A small silver drone rose from the floor. It hummed softly. Bright lines of light shot out and formed a chart in the air. The chart showed 10 levels. Tier 1 was gentle garden worlds. Warm days, no storms, safe animals, plenty of food. Tier 10 was places where even machines broke fast. The drone pulled data from probes and the human signal. Air mix, gravity pull, weather records, animals, plants, sicknesses, earthquakes, volcanoes, oceans full of teeth, forests with poison, deserts too hot, poles too cold. Everything. The chart spun fast. Lights flashed red, then yellow, then deeper red. The final number stopped on the screen. Tier 8, Hellworld. The hall went dead quiet. No laughs, no whispers, just wide eyes. Corvex stared hard. Tier 8? That rating means the planet tries to kill anything smart that lives on it. The drone answered in its flat voice. Correct. Extreme weather changes, frequent disasters, high oxygen feeds massive fires. Gravity causes long-term body damage without support. Over 6 million life forms. Many use venom. Many hunt in packs. Many live inside other bodies. Microbes evolve fast and attack new hosts. The native species survives only by constant tool use, group cooperation, and high tolerance for pain and loss. Trix Varn clicked his mandibles. But they stay there, willingly. They breed billions. They build tall towers on shaking ground. They sail seas that eat ship's hull. Lyra Voss looked at the glowing Tier 8 mark. So their fear is not weakness. It is learned. Every day the world teaches them danger. Corvex snorted. Or they are too stupid to leave. Imagine living where tiny bugs can kill you, where water falls from the sky and floods homes, where the ground opens and swallows cities, and they call that normal. The delegates started talking again. Some laughed once more, but the laughs sounded different now. Nervous, forced. A small, airy delegate with bright red wings spoke up. We should keep distance. Tier 8 means high risk. Observe only. No landing, no direct talk until we study more. The vote was quick. Hands, claws, tentacles rose. The motion passed. Earth stayed under watch. No ships near. No messages back yet. The delegates left the hall in small groups. They still talked about the humans. Some called them brave in a strange way. A few stayed quiet and thought hard. Far away on Earth, inside a deep bunker under solid rock, Captain Ethan Hayes sat at a long table. He had short brown hair and calm gray eyes. Maps and screens covered the walls. Commander Olivia Grant stood next to him. She had dark hair tied back and a steady face. Ethan looked at a screen that showed the alien probe in high orbit. Small, hidden, watching. They saw our signal, he said. They know we exist. Olivia crossed her arms. And they think we are afraid of our own shadow. Ethan gave a small smile. Good, let them keep thinking that. He turned to another screen. It showed weather maps. A big storm moved toward the coast. People below prepared. They moved fast. They helped each other. No panic. Just work. Olivia watched with him. They laugh at our fears. But fear is what kept us alive. Every storm. Every sickness. Every animal with claws. We learned. We built. We got stronger. Ethan nodded. And when the time comes, they will learn what happens when a Tier 8 species decides to step off its Hellworld. He leaned back in his chair. For now, we wait. We watch. We get ready. Outside the bunker, the world kept turning. Rain fell. Wind blew. Animals hunted. People worked. Laughed. Loved. Feared. And kept going. Above them, the alien probe floated silent. It recorded everything. It sent data back to Nexara. The delegates would read the reports. They would talk more. They would laugh less. Because the truth was starting to sink in. The humans did not live in fear. They lived through fear. And that made them something the galaxy had not seen before. Something dangerous. Something that might one day look up at the stars and decide it was time to come out and play. The probe kept watching. The humans kept living.